Bless the name of the Lord. For the song said, bless the Lord, oh my soul, and all that's within me. Bless his holy name. The Lord has been too good to us for us not to bless his name. He forgives our sins. Heals our broken hearts. Oh Lord, our Lord, how excellent is your name in all the earth. Your exceeding greatness is unsearchable. But we thank you, God, that in your grace you've been merciful. You brought us now, God, out of the pit and delivered us to this place. For that, God, we give you praise. Not because the journey is over, but God, we praise you because you kept us thus far along the way. We don't know if our steps are going to roll on tomorrow, but God, we thank you for the steps, for the strength that you've given us today. We don't have 10,000 tongues, oh God, to speak in every language, but God, in the one tongue we have, we say thank you. Thank you, Lord. With one tongue, God, we say thank you, Lord. With one voice, God, we thank you, Lord. We have no Spanish and French, but God, in English, we thank you for being a mighty good God. We thank you for grace and for mercy. We thank you, God, for making a way. We thank you, God, for opening doors. We thank you, God, that if it had not been for you on our side, we would never sit in the sanctuary looking cute and sophisticated. If it had not been for you on our side, we wouldn't be able to wear white and act like we've always holy. If it had not been for you on our side, we would have given up a long time ago. But thanks be to God who's given us the victory. Thanks be to God who kept us one more day. Thanks be to God for grace and for mercy. Thanks be to God for keeping us in our right mind. Thanks be to God that we can praise and worship you just one more time. Now God. And now God. And now God. We refuse to be silent about your goodness. God, right now we refuse to shut up our shout. For your word said we hold our peace, the rocks will cry out in our place. But God, you didn't save the rock, but I know you saved me. God, we give you all the honor. God, we give you all the glory. We worship you in this place. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. We worship, we worship, we worship. We worship, we worship, we worship. God, you're worthy to be praised. And now, Lord, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable, God, in your sight. For you are my strength, my redeemer, and my friend. In Jesus' name, let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. Come on and bless the Lord and say amen again. Oh yeah. I know what you come to do. But I come to praise the Lord. 1 Corinthians chapter 11. 1 Corinthians 11. amazed with where God leads and what God does. One of the things that amazes me is whenever I come to 1 Corinthians 11. For those of you who perhaps may not know, Corinthians was written before the Gospels were written. And on first Sunday, when we come to the Lord's table and we read this text from Corinthians, before Mark or Matthew or Luke talked about the Lord's Supper, Paul talked about it first. But Paul talks about it in such a way that it always challenges and convicts me whenever I read these words. 1 Corinthians 11, beginning at verse number 18, we find these words. Paul said, first of all, when you come together as a church, I hear there are divisions among you, and in part I believe it. I think there must also be factions among you, that those who are approved may be recognized. Therefore, when you come together in one place, it's not to eat the Lord's Supper, for in eating it, each one takes his own supper ahead of everybody else. One is hungry, somebody else is drunk. Do you not have houses to eat and to drink in? Or do you hate the church of God and shame those who have nothing? What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? Surely I do not. For I have received from the Lord the same thing which I also delivered to you, that the Lord Jesus, on the same night he was betrayed, took bread. When he'd given thanks, he broke it and said, take, eat. This is my body which is broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me. In the same manner, he also took the cup after supper, saying, this cup is the new covenant in my blood. This do, as often as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes. Listen to that. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes. Therefore, whoever eats this bread, watch that, or drinks this cup of the Lord in an unworthy manner, shall be found guilty. That's what the word says. Shall be found guilty of the body and the blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself. And after you examine yourself, then come and eat of the bread and drink of the cup. Examine yourself. Why? Because whoever eats and drinks in an unworthy manner eats and drinks judgment to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. You must be crazy. I ain't crazy, y'all. Because for this reason, many are weak and sick among you, and some sleep. The Greek said died. For if we would judge ourselves, we would not be judged. But when we are judged and chastened by the Lord, that we may not receive, that we may not be the condemned with the world. Therefore, my brothers, when you come together to eat, wait for one another. And if anybody's hungry, eat at home, lest you come together for judgment. And the rest I will set in order when I come. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes. Therefore, whoever eats this bread or drinks this cup in a manner that is unworthy will be guilty of the body and the blood of the Lord. I want to tag this text and share from this subject. I ain't got time to play at the table. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. I ain't got time to play at the table. Well, here we are, beloved, on the first Sunday of the fourth quarter of 2018. January, February, and March were the first quarter. April, May, and June were the second quarter. July, August, and September were the third quarter. And these last 3 months of the year, October, November, and December, represent the fourth quarter of the year. And if you are familiar with sports and sports analogies, then you know that a whole lot can happen in the fourth quarter. You can be losing in the first 3 quarters of the game, but still win the game based upon what happens in the fourth quarter. Amen. You may have been underperforming for 3 quarters, but can outperform in the fourth fourth quarter and still come out on top. You can be behind and defeated for 3 quarters and still come out ahead and get the victory in the fourth quarter, because the game is not decided by the score at the end of the first 3 quarters, but the winner is determined by the score at the end of the fourth quarter. I'm preaching and y'all ain't praying, because I came to preach today to somebody who's looking for a fourth quarter comeback. Yeah, You started the first quarter on a level field, but by the end of the quarter, you fell a little bit behind. You scored a little bit in the second quarter of the game, but by the time it was over, you were still further behind. You regrouped at halftime and came back for the third quarter, but your opponent regrouped too, and by the end of the third quarter, you were still behind on the scoreboard, behind in your faith, behind in your bills, behind in your health and your hope, behind in reaching your goals and doing all the good stuff you said you were going to do. But it's the fourth quarter now, and I'm getting ready for a comeback. Is there anybody here ready for a comeback? I was worried the first 3 quarters, but I'm going to win it in the fourth quarter. I was overwhelmed in the first 3 quarters, but I'm going to overcome it in the fourth quarter. I was being defeated in the first 3 quarters, but I'm determined to be delivered in the fourth quarter. Y'all help me up in here, because in the first quarter of this year, you may have had physical setbacks, financial setbacks, and faith setbacks, but because God has never stopped blessing you, your first quarter setback can be a setup for a fourth quarter comeback. Y'all don't feel me. In the second quarter of the year, we learned that people who were supposed to be our allies were working against us with our adversaries. But while they may have showed us down and slowed us down in the second quarter, we are reminded of how God sent his son to save us in the fourth quarter. I'm going to fix it in a minute. In the third quarter of the year, Botham John was killed by a white policewoman while he was in his own home right here in Dallas. But in the fourth quarter, when we see the Advent and the Christmas season, we are reminded that God is coming to establish his kingdom, and the love of justice of God will reign, and that God is still on our side. Y'all not feeling me. To start the fourth quarter of this year, we saw Brett Kavanaugh be confirmed to the Supreme Court on yesterday, even after credible women came forward and told tales of his drunken sexual assault against them, and he himself had the nerve to act angry and act asinine as he was interviewed before the Senate. But even though the enemy may have scored with Brett Kavanaugh to open the fourth quarter, before the quarter is over, Election Day is coming on November 6th. And while we may not be able to send Kavanaugh back, we can take the House back, and we can take the Senate back, and we get up off our backsides, get to the polls, get out and vote. Oh yeah. We may have had some setbacks, but in the fourth quarter, I'm coming for a comeback. And because I'm looking for a fourth quarter comeback, y'all, I ain't got time. I ain't got time to be wasting on people who are lazy and don't want to do nothing. I ain't got time. I ain't got time to be talking to people who don't want to listen. I ain't got time for people who don't want to vote and help us get the victory. I don't have time for people who do more talking than they do working. I'm not playing around anymore. I'm not waiting around anymore. I'm not accepting excuses anymore. But it's time to get in gear 11, as Paul begins this portion of his letter to the Corinthian church, he begins by praising the Corinthians. He praises them for the way they have remembered and honored him as the founding pastor of the church in Corinth. But as the chapter progresses, like a coach giving his team a pep talk, Paul says to them, I cannot praise you for everything that you do, because there are some obvious things that you are doing wrong that God is not pleased with. And I cannot praise you, Paul says, when it's obvious you are doing wrong. And as we come into the fourth quarter of 2018, looking for a comeback like Paul, we need to stop praising folks for doing stuff that is obviously wrong. Y'all can say amen whether you want to or not. But here we are in Domestic Violence Month, and we've got to stop defending men and making excuses for men who violently put their hands on our women and our children. We got to stop saying boys will be boys. We got to stop blaming women and saying it's their fault they got raped, or their fault they got molested, or their fault that they got hit. And it's time that we stop making excuses and stop looking the other way for our fathers and uncles and brothers and cousins and nephews who mistreat our women. I'm sorry, but in the fourth quarter, I just ain't got time for that. Because if there is one thing that hurts not only our community, but also our churches, it is that all too often we make excuses for people when it is obvious they are not committed to the cause of Christ. Help me up in here. We have begun to celebrate silliness. We have begun to praise mediocrity. We have put people on high pedestals and positions because they were our friends and not because we believe that God had anointed and appointed them. We act nice to people who have money while ignoring the fact that they don't have any godly morals. And then we celebrate and elevate our churches that have excelled and become mega churches with thousands of members, but though they may be mega churches, they don't do anything to help the poor and the marginalized. And as we enter into this fourth quarter, Paul says that it's time to call a spade a spade. It's time to call a joker a joker. It's time to call a slacker a slacker, because Jesus said that you will know the truth, and the truth shall set you. And so if you want to be free and be liberated, it's time to face the truth. And the truth is we played long enough, and now it's time to get serious if we're going to complete this comeback. And as we gather in God's house on this first Sunday of the fourth quarter, I hear God saying to us that we need to realize that we ain't got time to play at the table. For coming to the table is serious business. Coming to the table is a testimony of our faith in God. Coming to the table is a testament to God's faithfulness unto us. But to many of us, coming to God's table has become so routine that we don't take the time to reverence it the way that we should. It's become a habit. It's become a tradition. And if we are not careful, and if we don't examine ourselves, and if we don't revere and respect what's happening at the table, then Paul says we are drinking damnation into our own body. And this, my friends, is why sometimes we find ourselves losing at the stuff we ought to be winning. Hello? Because we underestimated what we were up against. We thought that our opponent was going to be easy to beat. So we didn't practice the way we ought to have practiced. We didn't pray like we ought to have prayed. We did not prepare like we ought to have prepared. We didn't condition ourselves the way we needed to be conditioned. And so by the time the first quarter was over, we didn't have any fight left in us because already we were tired. We talked about what we were going to do, but when the game started, we were tired. We talked about what we were finna do and about to do, but when it came time to So I hear Paul saying in our text that going through the motions, it ain't good enough. No. Coming to the table by itself, it ain't good enough. Taking the bread and drinking of the cup by itself is not good enough. Because if you're playing when you come to the table, you miss the point and the power of being at the table. And if you are really ready to have a fourth quarter comeback, then Paul tells us today that when you come to the table, don't let your flesh or your ego get in your way. Anybody looking for a comeback? I'm trying to help you today. Paul says if you want to have a fourth quarter comeback, then today when you come to the table, don't let your flesh or your ego get in your way. I didn't make it up. Look back at what Paul says in 1 Corinthians 11. Look at the 3 verses 18 through 21. Paul says that for starters, I hear that there are divisions among you when you come together at the table. And Paul said, I partly believe it. And because there are divisions among you, he says that you aren't really coming together to celebrate the Lord's Supper, but you are coming to get a free meal from the church. I wish I could hang my hat right there, because there are a whole lot of folks who come to the church to get a free meal. And I'm not just talking about the food pantry when they come on Wednesday, but I'm talking about Sunday after Sunday. Folk come to church just to get a free meal. They come and sit and soak it all up, just getting a free meal, soaking up the singing and soaking up the praise and soaking up the sermon, soaking up the fellowship, soaking up the worship. They're eating and taking it all in, but they ain't getting nothing in return. I'm all off my script, but I'm all up in the spirit. They ain't gave no thank you, ain't gave no hallelujah, ain't gave no tithe, ain't gave no offering. All they gave was attitude as they sat up with their arms folded, looking like they didn't want to be here. But Paul said your flesh and your ego will mess you up when all you do is come to the church just to get a free meal. Am I preaching up in here? Oh yeah, Paul said there are divisions among you because you came just to get a free meal. And when you come, you eat so much while other folk go hungry. When you come, you drink so much that you get drunk and got to send other people away thirsty. And so Paul says that when you come to the Lord's table, you're supposed to come by faith, but your flesh is getting in the way because you're only concerned with filling up your own belly. You have brought your personal greed to the table of God. And Paul says in verse 33 that when you come to the Lord's table, you ought to come and tarry for one another. In other words, you ought to be considerate of other folk who come to the table with you. And don't be so preoccupied with filling up yourself that somebody else has to go without. Because this is not a meal to fill you up, but this is a meal to remind you of the sacrifices of God. So Paul says if you hungry, you ought to eat something before you come. If you want a little something to drink, Paul said drink it before you come. Because if you come to the Lord's table just to satisfy your stomach and to quench your thirst, if you show up here thinking it's all about you, you have missed the point, the purpose, and the power for being at the table. You want to tell somebody it ain't about you. It ain't about you. It ain't about you. It ain't about you when you come up in here. You see, in this church in Corinth, if I can slow myself down, at this church in Corinth, this is a church where the well-off were the first to be served. The well-connected were the first to be served. And the poor and the marginalized came last. The big eyes came first, and the little U's came last. And sometimes this mentality that the Corinthian church had at the table, it transferred unto their everyday life. Oh, I'm going to mess with you in a minute, because both at the table and in life, there were self-righteous folk who looked down on everybody else. Yeah, both at the table righteousness and not realize all of us got the same struggle. You may dress better than I do, live in a bigger house than I do, and drive a more expensive car than I do. But the truth of the matter is, I'm broke and you broke too. The truth is, I hurt and you hurt too. The truth is, I got bills and you got bills too. Y'all not gonna help me up in here. For the Bible tells us that not only do we have the same life burden, but we also have the same sin burden. For the word of God says no matter how good you look or how bad you look, that all of us have sinned and come short of the glory of God. All of us have missed the mark. And I don't care how holy and how saved you are today, you still got some stuff on your record that you don't want nobody to know about. And if you come to the Lord's table thinking you are worthy of coming, you let your ego get in the way. If you come to the table thinking about other folks' sin and not your own sin, you let your flesh get in the way. Oh, but when you come to the table, you ought to come humble and you ought to come with a contrite spirit. When you come to the table, you ought to come recognizing that you nor I are worthy to be at the table of God. When you come to the table, you ought to come knowing you're not worthy to take the bread and not worthy to drink the cup, because I heard the prophet Isaiah say that we all are like an unclean thing, and all of our righteousness is like a filthy rag, and all of us gonna die like the leaf, and all of us are taken away in iniquity. No matter how good you think you are, all of your goodness is a filthy rag. No matter how righteous you think you are, all of your righteousness is like a filthy rag. Oh, but God, I feel like preaching up in here. Oh, but God, who is rich in mercy. Oh, but God, who has great love for us. He has died for our sin and brought us together with Christ. And he raised us up together and made us to sit together in the heavenly places with Jesus the Christ. And that in the age to come, the word says he will show forth the exceeding riches of his grace with his kindness towards us. For he gave us the gift of his son. The word says by grace have we been saved, and not of works, lest any man should boast. And we came to have this fourth quarter comeback. We can't have it if you think it's all about you. We can't have it if you're being self-righteous. We can't have it if we got the wrong attitude. But when you come to the table looking for a comeback, you got to get your flesh out of the way. You got to get your ego out of the way. And you got to come saying, it's me, it's me, it's me, oh Lord, I'm standing. I'm standing in the need of prayer. Well, number two, I ain't playing, I ain't got time to play at the table. I'm looking for a fourth quarter comeback. Watch this, because when you come to the Lord's table, you got to remember that all of us been invited. All of us been invited. I may be the pastor, and Mary Thompson may be the usher on the back row, and Bishop Cunningham may be sitting as a bishop in the CME church, but all of us with our different statuses and stations, all of us have been invited. Oh, I wish I had some help here. You think you deserve to be here? Now all of us have been invited. It's not your table, y'all. You a guest. You didn't buy the meal, and you are not the homeowner, but you are a guest. You didn't cook the meal, but you are a guest. If you're a guest, you ought to show some respect to the one who is the owner of the house. If you are a guest, you ought to show some appreciation to the one who bought the table and put the meal on the table. If you are a guest, you got to remember that you are not the one who is in charge of the thing. You just been invited to participate in the thing. I'm going to work that in a minute. Paul reminds us, he reminds the Corinthian church in verses 23 to 25 of the text that the table where we feast on the body and the blood of Christ is at the table that even though you look at the Lord's table, you may only see loaves and bread and goblets of wine. But he says it's not just bread and wine, but it's the body and the blood of Jesus Christ. And we know that it's not just bread and wine, because Jesus himself said on the night that he was betrayed, he took bread off the table and said to his disciples, "This is my body, which is given for you." And then he took the cup off the table and said, "This cup is my blood, which has been shed for you." And the Bible says that after he gave them the bread and the cup, they began to have a new understanding about what was there on the table, that it was not just them together, but the very presence of God was with them at this table. And so when we come to the Lord's table, we don't have a right to be there, and we don't deserve to be there, but we ought to come saying, "Hallelujah, thank you, Jesus," because we are responding to his invitation. And some of us know what it means to get an invitation. We receive invitations to birthday parties. We receive invitations to retirement parties. We receive invitations to wedding showers and bridal showers. We receive invitations to be in attendance at the grand opening of a business. But you got to remember that the invitation has not been extended to everybody. The invitation has not been given to everybody here, there, and everywhere. But if you have been invited, it means you are close enough to the host that he or she sent you an invitation, and the invitation got your name on it. I said, if you've been invited, it means that the person who invited you thought that you were worthy of coming. If you got an invitation, it means there was something about you in your relationship with the host that got you invited when other folk did not get invited. And when we come to the Lord's table, we ought to always be mindful that we are simply some guests who have been invited. The table of the Lord is not for everybody, but it's for the blood-bought sons and daughters of God. The table of the Lord is for those who will answer the invitation to deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. The table of the Lord is not for everybody, but for those who answer the invitation to come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. The table of the Lord is for those who answer the invitation to come ye blessed of my Father and inherit the kingdom that's prepared for you. The table of the Lord is not just for everybody, but it recognizes Jesus, who is the partner of your sin. Is there anybody here who got your invitation? That's why I love the invitation that we give right before we come to the table. The invitation, it says, not everybody, but it calls for ye that do truly and earnestly repent of your sins. It doesn't call for everybody, but it calls for you who are in love and charity with your neighbor. Oh, it doesn't call for everybody, but it calls for you who intend to lead a new life following the commandments of Christ. It's you who can draw near and receive the sacrament by faith. So I don't have time to play at the table because the Bible says that if I confess my sins, that God is faithful and God is just to forgive my sins and cleanse me from all unrighteousness. So ye that do truly and earnestly repent, I can check that off. I ain't got time to play at the table because the Bible says, how can we say we love God whom bread and the feast of the Lord for 2,000 years. It's still going on. There's love at the table. There's peace at the table. There's joy at the table. There's salvation at the table. There's hope at the table. There's a promise at the table. I may come with my pockets empty, but every time I come, my heart is full. I may come with my hands empty, but every time I come, I do get full. Because whatever I need, I find it. Yes, I do. I find it. Yes, I do. I find it. Yes, I do. At the table of the Lord. Let me quit. Let me quit. I ain't got time. I ain't got time to play at the table. Third and finally, because when I come to the table, I remember that it's not about me, but it's all about God. Oh, I wish I had a witness here. I'm trying to help you get your fourth quarter come back. That when you come to the table, you need to come remember that it's not about you, but it's all about God. For Paul tells the church at Corinth that when you come together at the Lord's table, it's not all about you. It's not about your righteousness. So don't let your flesh get in the way. He reminded them that it's not their table, but they've arrived as guests at the table. But lastly, Paul tells the church at Corinth that when you come together at the Lord's table and celebrate the Lord's Supper, we ought to remember that it's all about God. Verse 26 says that as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, we remember the Lord's death until he shall come again. And that's why coming to the table is a serious matter, because it is the one event designated by God where we commemorate his love and death for us. And that is all that we do when we come together at the table. We remember Jesus the Christ of Nazareth. We remember that he was born in a manger in Bethlehem. We remember that he grew up in a home with Mary and Joseph. We remember Jesus turning water into wine. We remember Jesus opening up deaf ears. We remember Jesus causing the lame to walk. We remember Jesus causing the mute to talk. We remember Jesus calling Lazarus back from the grave. But more than any of that, when we come to the table, we ought to remember that Jesus hung up on an old rugged cross on a hill called Calvary because of all the things that Jesus said and did. It would not mean anything if it had not been for Calvary. He died for you and me. He who had no sin of his own became sin for you and I. He could have called on 10,000 angels in order to take him from the cross, but he decided to die just for you and for me. And when we come to this table, me? I said it looked like the odds were stacked against him. But in the fourth quarter, he came back from behind. In the fourth quarter, he took the keys of death. In the fourth quarter, he took the power over sin. In the fourth quarter, they hung him high. They stretched him wide. He hung his head. For me, he died. But that's not how the story ends. 3 days later, I wish I had a witness here. I said 3 days later, I wish I had some help here. 3 days later, he rose again. Somebody said that that's love. There is a fountain filled with Emmanuel's blood, and sinners plunge beneath that fount. Lose all their guilty stains. It may look like you've been losing 3/4, but I came to tell you, get ready, get ready, get ready for the fourth quarter comeback. Because in the name of Jesus, I said in the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we have victory. January, February, March, first quarter, April, May, June, second, July, August, September, third. But in the fourth quarter, I've seen teams be losing the whole game, but in the fourth quarter, I've seen some deficits be erased. You ever been watching a game and it's a blowout, so you go to sleep? And you wake up in the morning to watch ESPN, and the team that was losing when you went to sleep, they came back and won that thing. I'm going to bless you right now. There are some folk who went to sleep on you because the way your year looked for the first 3 quarters. There are some folk who turned off the lights on you because your situation did not look good. There are some folk who wrote you off because it looked like you wasn't going to win. But while they were sleeping, your God still been working. While they were sleeping, your God still been moving. While they were sleeping, your God was on the case. And in the morning, you came out on top. In the morning, your joy was restored. In the morning, you found victory. Somebody has had a hard year. The first 3 quarters of your year have been difficult. You started the year with so much hope and possibility and dreams and resolutions and goals. But by the time March hit, you found yourself behind. You got a little score here and there in the second quarter. But it seemed like as you were scoring, your opponents were scoring even more. You ended the quarter still behind. You had a break at halftime. So let me go talk to the coach and talk to my teammates. We need to get this thing together. Made some adjustments in the third quarter. You came out fighting. But your enemy fought too. It made adjustments too. And now here it is, the fourth quarter. Still behind. They got the ball first and they've already scored. And you're still behind. But as long as there's time left on the clock, as long as God ain't blown the whistle and said it's over, We have the victory.